Donald Trump just lost his own backyard, and it is the one thing his team never wanted you to find out. We're talking about Mar-a-Lago, the place where the gold curtains hang and the big rallies happen. But this morning, the map looks very different than it did yesterday. If you thought Florida was a locked-in red state that would never change, you might want to sit down for this one. A political earthquake just hit Palm Beach, and the person who started it is someone most people had never even heard of until now. Her name is Emily Gregory. She is a first-time candidate, a regular person with no big political history, and she just did the impossible. She went into House District 87, the very district that contains Mar-a-Lago, and she didn't just win, she flipped the whole thing upside down. To give you an idea of how crazy this is, the person who had this seat before won it by 19 points. That is a massive mountain to climb. Most experts said Emily was on a suicide mission. They said trying to turn this district blue was like trying to sell ice to people in the middle of a blizzard. But when the final votes came in, the world stopped spinning for a second. Emily Gregory defeated Jon Maples, the man handpicked and endorsed by Trump himself. This wasn't just a small bump in the road. This was a 19-point swing that has Republican strategists staring at their charts like they've seen a ghost. How does a newcomer walk into the heart of the Red Fortress and walk out with the keys? That is the question everyone is asking, and the answer is actually a lot simpler and a lot more scary for some people than you might think. Look at these numbers for a second. We've got the charts right here showing the shift. In the last election, the Republican side was cruising. They were comfortably ahead. But Emily Gregory didn't play by the old rules. She didn't spend all her time on big TV ads or fancy dinners. Instead, she went door to door. She talked to people who are tired of their insurance bills being higher than their mortgage. She talked to families who feel like they are being priced out of their own neighborhoods. While the big names were talking about national fights, she was talking about the leaky roof and the empty wallet. And Jon Maples, he leaned hard into the Trump endorsement. He posted the screenshots of Trump's support on every social media page he had. He thought the Make America Great Again brand was enough to carry him across the finish line without breaking a sweat. Even Trump himself was posting on Truth Social, telling everyone to get out and vote for his patriot friend. We've all seen those posts, all caps, lots of exclamation points, the usual fire and brimstone. But this time, the magic spell didn't work. The voters in Palm Beach looked at the endorsement and then looked at their bank accounts, and they chose something different. This win is a huge red flag for the November 2026 elections. If a Democrat can win in the shadow of Mar-a-Lago, where else can they win? It's like the front door of the house was left wide open, and now everyone is wondering if the rest of the state is next. People are calling this a fluke, but you don't flip a district by nearly 20 points by accident. That's not a fluke. That's a message. It's a loud, clear shout that the ground is moving under our feet. There is a real sense of panic in some of these private political groups right now. I've seen some of the internal chatter, and people are scrambling to figure out if they need to change their entire game plan for 2026. The reproductive rights issue played a massive role here too. Emily Gregory didn't shy away from it. She made it a central part of her story, and it looks like women in the suburbs showed up in numbers nobody predicted. It turns out, when you combine high costs of living with concerns about personal freedom, people start looking for an exit ramp. So, what does this mean for the big stage? Is Trump losing his grip on his home turf, or was Jon Maples just the wrong guy for the job? Some people say Emily Gregory is just a one-of-a-kind candidate who caught lightning in a bottle. Others are saying this is the first domino to fall in a total collapse of the current system in Florida. If this trend holds, the map we see in November could look like a completely different planet. Think about the irony for a moment. Trump is out there fighting big battles in court and on the campaign trail, but he couldn't keep his own neighborhood on his side. It's like a king losing his own castle while he's out trying to conquer another land. It's embarrassing, sure, but more than that, it's a sign that the old ways of winning might be over. The endorsement effect that used to be a golden ticket is starting to look a little bit more like a heavy weight. And the story doesn't end here. Emily Gregory is being sworn in soon, and all eyes are going to be on every single move she makes. She has a lot of promises to keep, and the pressure is going to be through the roof. Can she actually lower insurance costs? Can she make a dent in the housing crisis? If she fails, this whole earthquake might just be a small tremor that people forget by next year. But if she succeeds, she might have just written the playbook for how to win in the most unwinnable places in the country. One thing is for sure, the 2026 midterms just got a whole lot more interesting. We're seeing a shift that doesn't happen very often, and it's happening in the one place nobody expected. The big question left hanging in the air is whether this was a one-time shock or the start of a total takeover. Are we looking at the end of an era or just a very loud wake-up call that some people are going to ignore until it's too late?